Going in 10. 3, 2, 1, go.
This week's message of the week is CrossFit is a lifestyle. How we're going to start this is I'm going to have each of my three guests, our three coaches, Trish, Megan, and Garrett, they are going to go through and brief how they would do in a class setting. And then we're going to go a little more in depth so that you guys can really get an idea of how important these messages are. So again, the message of the week this week is CrossFit is a lifestyle. Trish, go ahead and take us away.
Are we going over the bullet points?
Yeah, you can do that. Totally.
CrossFit is a lifestyle. It's more about nutrition. And I feel like usually when I brief this, I always point out our pyramid because it's the base of the CrossFit pyramid. And if you're not eating or paying attention to what you are consuming every day, you're not technically doing CrossFit because 100 Words of Fitness starts with eating meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar.
Love it. Meg?
I will just start by saying with CrossFit being a lifestyle, you can kind of swap that word for anything. Dieting is a lifestyle, or, happiness is a lifestyle. There's nothing you should dive into that cannot be sustained throughout all of life. And so with CrossFit, we want it to be something that's never to the extreme, that goes for, feeling like you have to restrict yourself eating, like nutrition, something sustainable that you can have throughout your life. When it comes to competition, like if you take it way to the extreme, you'll burn yourself out. Like make it something that is so balanced that you can come in here every day for the rest of your life.
Love that. Garrett?
Stole my point right at the end. Yeah. So it kind of goes into what Megan and Trish have been saying. That's okay.
At the bottom of
but
the jar.
It's also something that we talked about during my podcast. It is a lifelong thing, right? So it's you're continually going to be pursuing it for the rest of your life, or you're able to pursue it for the rest of your life. And with a lifestyle, it's something that you can continue to do and augment and change and develop and improve and keep it going type deal. So that's kind of how I always like to look at it type deal. So
Yeah, that's great. I want to look at this in two separate sides of the scale. So we're going to start on the lesser side of the scale. A lot of times you just see CrossFit as a workout regimen, right? Like at the end of the day, that's kind of what's seen is that workout regimen. A lot of people don't know that there is this whole entire methodology behind that, right? And that's where that lifestyle piece comes in. That's where we talk about nutrition and sleep and all those things. So to someone that comes in and they're like, I'm doing CrossFit and all I'm doing is really the workout, how would you approach that? How would you try to teach or explain how CrossFit is a lifestyle? Anyone can talk first, whoever's got an answer.
I mean, I think that the first thing that comes to mind, because when I first started CrossFit, it was like I was attracted to the fitness portion. Like it was, I had been invited to a CrossFit class. I had seen CrossFit classes and that's what excited me. But once I got into class, it was like, how do I do better? Or how do I feel better? And the coach at the time was like, well, what are you eating? And me as a 19-year-old girl was like, it doesn't matter what I'm consuming or what my life looks like outside of the gym. And so I feel like that's kind of when I took a deeper dive into CrossFit of it really does make a difference of what I'm eating is going to reflect how I feel. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of just very quickly of a realization of my nutrition does matter. On if I'm wanting to perform better or whatever that might be. And then that kind of just led into how much water are you drinking? What's your sleep regimen? So it's just I feel like whatever might be your kickstart, whether that be the nutrition thing or the fitness thing, something's going to attract you to CrossFit of living a better, healthier life. For me, it was the fitness portion and everything else kind of followed. So
love that. Yeah. Does anyone have anything else to say on that?
I would say there's a big not just the physical adaptation that comes with CrossFit, but a mental adaptation.
Absolutely.
Where like you come in here, you realize that if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of confidence or not a lot of feels that they're not very capable of doing things, you come in here, you maybe you work out for a month, you're like, wow, I can do things. I have this ability to work past where I'm comfortable, those types of things. And I feel like that bleeds into a lot of other things in your life, right? Like doing the hard things at work or doing the tough things over at home, setting up a good routine where you're like, I'm going to go to bed at this time, I'm going to eat these foods. A lot of that is also just a mental adaptation, right? Like you're getting yourself thinking like, I'm working hard here, I'm going to continue to work hard and push myself in these other areas, right? And feel capable and empowered in those types of things. So I feel like that's probably even one of the more benefits of CrossFit as your life. It's not just physical, it's mental, right?
Yeah. Love that.
I was just going to play into the definition of constantly varied functional movements performed at a high intensity, and that word functional, because when you look at CrossFit compared to other forms of fitness, for example, like bodybuilding, where you're isolating your muscles, you're really trying to build up this thing that you're walking around with your entire life, versus when we're in here, basically every single thing we do can be translated into something you're doing in your daily life, which you're building strength in those areas. And I just always think of like people like Trish, who's about to pop out a child, like she's gonna be able to pick him up and run around with him, until she's old and gray. And people who, struggle getting up, walking up the stairs, or sitting up in bed, like all those things can be translated into an aspect of CrossFit that benefits you in your daily life.
Love that. So we kind of talked about how sometimes CrossFit is only seen as a fitness regimen. And now let's go to the other side where CrossFit is seen as this competitive sport where you have to train multiple times a day and you have to be eating crazy amount of calories and lots of sugar to keep yourself, a lot of carbohydrates to keep yourself fueled and all of those things. And what would you say about that type of extreme and how we can find a balance in between the two to really make it a lifestyle, something that we can do for life, right?
I feel like, I guess the best way that I can compare it is like, I shouldn't say everyone, but it's just like people enjoy watching the NFL. Like we get excited to have a Super Bowl party and like do those types of things. Watching the Super Bowl is similar to like watching CrossFit Games athletes. There's lots of people who play football, whether that's in a rec league or high school sport or whatever that might be. The small percentage of those people will actually go to the NFL. I feel like that you can kind of correlate that to everyday CrossFitters is like people who come in and do CrossFit every single day. A very small percentage of them are going to be going to the CrossFit Games, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't enjoy the beauty of CrossFit and the fitness portion of that. And I think that might be the attractive part of CrossFit, or what people see. Like when I started CrossFit, like I looked up open workouts and I saw Stacy Tovar doing deadlifts and box jumps, and so it's just like that's what gets you excited, but it's just such a small amount of like what CrossFit is. So I think it's a good thing because it does get people excited, and like you get to see the best of the best, almost showcase what they're able to do, but also like having the realization of like that's such a small percentage of CrossFitters. And like if you go to an affiliate into a regular class, like you're not going to see the extremes. And I think that makes it a little bit more of like a welcoming atmosphere, because I do think when someone does come into the CrossFit gym, it's just like, this is really intense and you guys do crazy stuff in here. It's just like, well, you're thinking of the small percentage of people that do those things. But in our space, it's like, we don't expect you to hop up on the rings and get ring muscle ups or deadlift 500 pounds or whatever that might be. It's just like, I feel like it's a good thing to be able to see and like get you excited about, but just know there's a version of that for everyone.
Right. And I think adding on to, no, that was great. Adding on to that, it's like when we see those high level competitive athletes, I don't want to say that CrossFit's their lifestyle. CrossFit's their life, right?
Yeah.
Because that's their job, right? When we talk about CrossFit as a lifestyle, we're talking about how CrossFit can benefit and the way that you live every day. How can it make you feel good at work? How can it help you perform your best mentally and physically? And all of those things, rather than making CrossFit your life and your job, right? Those things are different, right? Do you guys have anything to say on that competitive piece?
I was
Just
going
gonna
to
go
speak
down the
into the livelihood piece of that, because those athletes are in the gym, 4-hour training sessions. They take their fuel break, another 2 to 4 hour session, and they're in here every day doing that. Whereas we're coming in for our 1 hour a day, the best hour of our day, and then we're heading out into all of life. But we just came off of a weekend of competing at the Summit Games, and I grew up a competitive cheerleader, so did you. And CrossFit, to me, the way I've been able to balance it is I get in here, I love doing this for my form of fitness, and then signing up for a competition, you automatically put a date on the calendar that's okay, I have something to strive for. I was a competitive athlete my whole life, and this has allowed me to still feel like such an athlete outside of being a cheerleader my whole life. And then you can challenge yourself and give yourself goals to push for if you're someone who has that competitive edge still.
Love that. Do you have anything to add, Garrett?
I was gonna say the same. I was like, competition can be a great motivator.
Yeah.
For those that are maybe they're already in here, we've got them in, right? But they're starting to lull a little bit. They're feeling slumped. It's that can be a really good motivator for people to hey, I want to work towards these goals. They're great goal setters, but it needs to be done in the appropriate way, right? It's don't need to be in here 3 hours a day killing yourself to try to get ring muscle ups, right? Hey, let's work on just your good pull. Let's work on pull-ups. Let's work on chest to bars. Those types of things. It's great motivators for people. Is it for everybody? Absolutely not, right? Competition it's more of a short-term type thing, right? I don't think anybody should be expected that they're going to compete. Well, I mean, there are CrossFit athletes that are well under their 60s now, so I mean, they have some pretty big age groups. So I mean, it is possible, but I think to be performing at such a higher level, you could potentially get burned out, right? Yeah. And that is one thing we want to prevent as coaches, right? We don't want to see people getting burned out, right? We want to see you in here 6 days a week as much as we can, because that's the real benefit, right? Getting your best hour of your day. What CrossFit preaches 2 on 1 off type deal, right? That's their main rotation. That's what we want to see people to do. That's where they're going to get their true lifelong benefits. Competition, again, great motivator, can really push people into uncomfortable areas. When I competed, I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. Especially because of the people that I met through it. It was great. Yeah. It's a different kind of community that's in that. But as for your general population, right, it's short-term benefits there. So
right.
Yeah.
I would like to say competition with CrossFit is not required. It's more of that icing on the top.
Yeah.
Right? It's it's the cherry on top of your cake or your ice cream. I don't know, sundae. when you have cherries on top of it. But
you have cherry turkey.
Yeah, there you go. It's
your cake.
It's not required, where I feel a lot of times people are well, everyone competes in this. Do I have to compete? And it's just that's not really, like you said, it's a good motivator, and people like to motivate you, especially if you did grow up competitive. It's a nice way to continue on that competitive aspect, which brings me to my next question is, in here, we really strive for PR days, right? And our benchmark days. And it's oh, okay, I'm going to push myself and try to PR. But at the end of the day, we always want to focus more on practice. So what would you say is the difference between PRing and practicing?
I have something I heard from what's his name? Comp train? Who does comp train?
Ben Bergeron.
But I was gonna say Ben Bergeron. I second guessed myself. He always talks about the difference between practice, train, compete. And so the way I love to think about it is, okay, if there is ring muscle ups in a workout one day, and if you're not proficient at them, you kind of know you're showing up today to practice. In my opinion, if you are pretty proficient at them and you're in a workout and you're hitting them, and at that point you're working on it under fatigue and trying to get reps, that's when you're training them. So that practice piece is where you're learning, you're taking things slow, you're really feeling the technique of everything, breaking it down. Once you have it down, mostly, there's always room to improve. You move into that training piece where you're able to just get better at it. And then when you're competing, it's like, okay, you have 60 seconds, get as many ring muscle ups as you can in this 60 seconds versus the person next to you type of thing. So I just love that, like, practice, train, compete, Venn diagram concept.
I like that addition in there with that train in the middle. Because like, yeah, practicing the skills, that's like low intensity, learning the mechanics, building the strength, and then you get that skill, and now we can train it, right? Now we can practice the reps, and I like that added piece in there.
I think what I would have to say is, like, I think each day is going to be different, and I think maybe the phase that I'm in is just like I can still do a benchmark, but it's just like I am not going to get anywhere near my best times or even best weights or whatever you want to, however you want to look at that. But I also think it's just different phases in your life, and taking it a day at a time, where it's just like, if we just recently did Salty Karen, it's just like, if you came in and you didn't sleep well the night before, or you had a really big lunch, or like something, when you come into the gym and you don't feel great, like you might not get a PR, and it's okay. Like, it's okay to still come in and do a benchmark without the expectation of having that be your best. And so I think taking that as you will, where it's just like not expecting a PR. I feel like the unexpected PRs are probably the best ones, because it's just like, I feel like there's a little bit lower expectation. But I do think that there is a time and place where it's just like, I had great sleep, I had my workout meal, and I'm like ready to get after it. Like, there's definitely workouts that I'm like, there's a few that I'm like, okay, those are I want to do well in this one, and I might put a little bit more effort in my preparedness to come to do that benchmark, where it's just like, there also might be a benchmark I'm like, I'm just trying to like get through this, where it's just like trying to find what one you feel like you can push yourself, and which ones that you can just kind of manage in a way. Which are also still training, like you're practicing and training those things. It's just like, I'm not missing out on doing that, I'm just not shooting for a PR, competing for that specific thing.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, a lot of times how I differentiate them for myself is, on training days, I have like a specific goal in mind, right? Like, if it's a ring muscle up workout, I'm going to try and do sets of 3. Like, that's my specific goal. And on PR days, I'm like, I'm just going to see what happens. Like, I'm going to go hard and just like see what happens. And if I crash and burn, at least I learned, right? So that's kind of how I go about those days. What about you, Garrett? Do you have any?
I have a very similar, like, especially now, because some of these benchmarks we've done so many times now, I'm like, I know what it's gonna feel like. I don't know, like, especially if I come in and I'm like in the morning not feeling great, like, oh, I'm not feeling like I'm gonna attack this kind of deal. I still try to set little goals, like you said, like, so Salty Karen's a perfect example, where it's like, I'm gonna go into this, I'm gonna do unbroken wall balls because I know I can do it. I'm gonna maintain that the entire time, and then the run's the run. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try to push it. I did not PR this time, and that's okay. But
That's okay.
I hit my goal of I did all my wall balls unbroken. Like, I think it's a really good way to attack some of our benchmarks, is like set little goals in there, right? Like, yeah, I want a PR, I want to see my name up there, or at least beat my time that I have. But it's also like, if I'm doing Salty Grace or something, like, I want to be able to do the weight that I want to do, or some things like that. Like, I think those are really great ways to like feel good about your effort that you have done, is set those little small, maybe stretch or push goals, and then the results like, hey, I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
The result is, that's fine. I gave my effort, and that's good enough for me. So
yeah. One thing we talk about too that I want to touch on is, we always talk about how your scores in here are the data to your fitness, right? Are we getting fitter? So when we get to those benchmark days and you don't PR, how do you handle that mentally? Because I know it can be tough for myself, for other members as well, being like, well, why am I not fitter, right? Which that is not necessarily the case, but how would you guys approach that, or give some advice to to get through that and kind of understand what's going on.
I feel like taking time to reflect where that person is. Like, it's just like, depending on which benchmark it was, where they did it the first time or the second time, of like, where were you in your life? Like, maybe the first time you did this benchmark, you were consistently coming in 5 days a week. You've been coming every other week, that it's, so I feel like the consistency of like being in the gym, comparing the two benchmarks of like how well were they prepared in their fitness. Not that it's common, but I've definitely had people come in where it's just like, oh, this isn't as good as the last time I did it. It's just like, I haven't seen you as much either. So it's just like, I feel like the consistency portion. Or they also, again, going back to their lifestyle, it's just like maybe they've been a little bit more stressed the last month, or their nutrition hasn't been as good. So it's just like, I feel like other things outside of their performance or their fitness could be dwelling and having effect on their fitness. So I feel like just letting them, or having them, teaching them, guiding them, whatever that is, of like the realization of what their fitness has been in the last little bit compared to where they were maybe previously.
Something that has been an encouragement to me specifically this year. So we added a new benchmark. It was the endurance test, and I'm not a big cardio girl at all. And so I knew it was going to go interesting, but it was like, I get really in my head about things. And so like mid-workout, I just was panicking and like had to just get through it. And I like walked outside just to breathe, and to try and like calm down. And, my husband walked out and he was just like, listen, nobody in there cares like what sign you just got on that workout. And he was like, like what we put our hope in, where you find your worth, and it's not that. Like, and I have just tried to carry that into everything, because with every benchmark in here, whether if you hit a PR, it's almost like, have the expectation piece. Like, you don't go walk in expecting to hit PRs, because when you don't, it's a disappointment. So it's like, get excited about the PRs, and if you don't hit it, it's like, that's okay. Everyone in here still loves you. You're still awesome. You're still very fit compared to everybody else. Like, whatever percentage of the world is sitting on their couch today doing nothing.
You
Like,
still showed up.
oh my goodness, yes.
Still
So,
funding all the people that
Yeah.
come that day.
Right.
That right now.
Oh,
So
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of my outlook.
I think some of the things that a lot of people tend to overlook, right, and myself included sometimes, it's not just the numbers that pop up, right? It's how do you feel after, right? Because yeah, you might have done a little bit slower, but I actually feel great. Like, I'm going to come in and work out again tomorrow. Or like,
Yeah.
I look at the 5K, because every time the 5K comes up, which is coming up, whenever time I run that 5K, I had to take like 3 days off because my knee starts so bad after that. So it's like stuff like that. But I'm hoping I'm going to run it this time. I'm hoping I'm going to feel good, because I've actually done a lot more fitness this summer than like summers past. I feel I've been mountain biking a lot more. So I'm curious to see like if I'm going to feel a lot better after that. Like, that to me, like, I could care less what the time is. Like, if I physically feel good afterwards and like the next day, like, that to me is a PR. Like, things like that, like consistency and coming, like, oh, I'm maybe not PR, but I'm still coming 3 days a week, where I was going to come in 2 days a week. Like, that should be a PR. I'm not hurt. I'm not injured. Like, those things that can come up, like, especially for people that tend to like take time off after like a big lift or something like that, or a big benchmark like a 5K, like, if you're able to like show up and do better after that type of exertion, I feel like that could be a PR for people. Like, and I think that we miss that, and we only look at the numbers that come up with what was my score. Like, there's more than just numbers to that. It's like, how do you feel? What's your consistency like? Like, those things can be big PRs for people. And for me, that's the kind of the stuff I'm looking at.
cool. Love that.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot of the things that can be involved with CrossFit as a lifestyle. Trish mentioned nutrition and sleep and recovery and finding a balance between just working out to working out too much and all of those types of things. Where does the community fall into the lifestyle piece?
Are you like, I'm gonna start crying already, because oh my gosh, I sent Trish and Justin a text this weekend after Summit Games, and these people, so we moved to Utah about 2 years ago, and we did not expect our CrossFit gym to be where we found our family away from home. And like meeting some of our best friends in this gym, like not only do I look forward to seeing them, you guys, in the gym all the time, but like outside of the gym, you guys are the people I want to see and hang out with and do life with and cry with and have babies and celebrate and like, oh my goodness, it's just been so incredible to get better with each other, but also mean so much to each other that like we want to do life together outside of the gym too. And so yeah, I've just found, as far as CrossFit being a lifestyle, like not only is it how I work out, it's the people that I've found that I want a part of every other part of my life as well.
Love that.
I'm gonna jump in on that too because I'm also a transplant. So the first thing we did when we moved here was I started looking at CrossFit gyms like right away. Like I think after we found a place to live, like it was instant. Like it only took coming here and I was done. Like it's the best. So like to me, it's like I understand that the community that is CrossFit is like the community I always want to be a part of. Like I find the best people in these communities. They're amazing, and it's such an eclectic collection of people. Like. I always look around, it's like most of these people would never run into each other outside of this gym.
Right.
And I love that melting pot of all these different personalities and everybody can come together in this one area and just be awesome. You know, like I've met a lot of great people through this gym that I hang out on a personal level too. Like it's great. I love it. So it's probably the best part of CrossFit is the community.
Yeah.
Like outside of the physical, like, you know, we're getting working out and feeling good about that. But the community, even if the workout portion went away, I would still enjoy it.
Hands down.
Right.
Hands
Like I
down.
would totally love it, right? Although it'd be tough to, but yeah. So
I feel like I have a lot of things that are going through my mind, so I'm going to try and bring them all together. Because CrossFit is quite literally my life, my job, my career, my lots of different things. And I think sharing, with Meg yesterday through a text message, it's just like we wanted to create a space for people. We weren't really sure, and I don't know if you asked Justin, he would say the same thing. But for the longest time, like when I went to school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. It was just like in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to help people and connect with people. And it's just like I feel like the journey that where I am now, it's just like we've created this place. And it's, I mean, yes, me and Justin are the face of it, but there's so many people, our coaching staff, our members that like bring it together. And I think it is something special. And I don't know what exactly it is that's like why it's so special, but it's just like it's such a special place. And I think a big part of that too is just like seeing the different types of people that come in here. And I don't think that it's like a one size or a one type of person in here. Even just looking at classes, it's just like there's so many different types of people here. But we're all here for the same thing, and that's to become healthier, stronger people. Whether you think that's the case or not, it's just like that's what brought you in here, is like you wanted to better yourself, whether that's you wanted to get more involved with fitness, or you wanted to be surrounded with people, or whatever that might be. So I think that creating a space for people to do that is having a community like ours. And I can't really compare because you guys have been to other gyms. I don't know if I can really compare to the gym that I was at previously, because it was like on campus and it was more of like a social thing. But like coming and having this be mine and Justin's life is definitely, I mean, it's our life too.
Right.
Kind of going back to like the competitors, it's like it's their life, but it's just like it's our life too. Just kind of two different routes of the CrossFit world, I guess.
Absolutely. I think it's the big saying, right? You are who you surround yourself with. And that's another big part of the community. If you're going to surround yourself with people that CrossFit's their lifestyle, you're more likely to embody that and bring CrossFit into your lifestyle, right? And I think it's funny. I've been thinking about this over the weekend. It's like so many people are like, all CrossFitters talk about is CrossFit. And it's just like, but it's because it is a lifestyle, right? You really do it all day, every day, whether you know it or not, whether that's with your sleep or your nutrition or whatever that looks like, or your fitness or whatever that looks like. It really does become a part of who you are, right?
Yeah. And I think a part of that too is just like CrossFit. I would say CrossFitters are all very passionate people. And so it's just like, I would say anything you're passionate about, whether that's CrossFit or mountain biking or skiing or whatever it is, you're going to want to talk about it. And I think kind of the combination of living the lifestyle and being passionate individuals, it's like, yeah, that's what we talk about.
Yeah, I love
I'll
it.
add to, it's funny when you hang out with your CrossFit friends, because let's say you like go to dinner and you're ordering similar foods, and then we have a game night and it's 10 o'clock and we're like, all right, we're ready for bed. Like everyone, you know, your life and style is so aligned that like even just hanging out with each other, things line up in that way.
For sure.
See you in the morning at the gym.
Yeah, exactly. I love
I
that.
don't see you in the morning.
Sometimes.
Oh, you're only here one day a week, Garrett. Just kidding. Do you have anything
Two or
to-
three, come on.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think, yeah. I'm
Love
good.
it.
Yeah.
Cool. If you had to give one piece of advice for someone to start implementing CrossFit as a lifestyle, where would be a good place to start? Trish, you go first.
No, I was like, I feel like they've got to go to a CrossFit affiliate.
Oh, wait,
It's
is
just
it
like-
this for somebody who's already at
Yeah,
the gym?
that's
Okay,
that's
okay,
my
good
question.
question.
Is like, are they already
So
going to
they're
a
already
gym?
at the gym. They want to implement CrossFit in more parts of their life outside of the gym. Where's a great place to start?
with their nutrition.
Love that.
I feel like with anyone, I feel like with, and maybe that's because I do nutrition stuff, I always recommend people to eat more protein and more fruits and vegetables. Just because it's just like, it's much easier to add things than take things out. So it's like, even if you're eating crappy food, try and add more protein, eat more fruits and vegetables.
You fill up on the good stuff, you won't be able to have room for the bad
Yeah.
stuff.
Love
If
it.
you're focused so much on protein, just kidding.
Love it. Meg?
A big thing that has been a game changer for me in my life that I've added is making sure that I'm not only confining my exercise and physical activity to the 1 hour that I show up to the gym, and letting that translate into the rest of my day by still prioritizing, you know, it's not a strict number, but like I try to get 10,000 steps a day. I try and stay as active as I can because I just think that there's this misconception that if you like hammer it out at the gym every day for 1 hour and then you're just sedentary the rest of the day, you're not going to be maximizing that fitness that you work so hard for. So just trying to continue to stay active throughout the day as much as you possibly can.
Love that. G?
I'd say be a part of the community as much as you can. You know, if you want it to be part of your life, you got to make it more than just that 1 hour of the day.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's got to be more. So
What's a way you can do that? Give us some advice.
I mean, obviously coming, right? Coming as much as you can that fits within your schedule. When we have things going on, try to participate, maybe volunteer, help out, hang out with people out of the gym too. Like it's like you said, like great friends that are part of the gym, and that's like you start gathering those people around you. It's going to continue to push your life in that direction that you want to go. So yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
put yourself out there, talk to people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Make friends.
Yeah.
Go get drinks or water
Yeah.
or
Coffee.
Go get your coffee and also come to the events. We
Yeah.
have so much here, so we really try to embody our community. So get involved as much as you can, and I thought that was really great, you guys. So thank you for joining me. Just to end it off, CrossFit is a lifestyle. The definition of lifestyle is the way in which a person or group lives, and that really what CrossFit is, right? We try to live a healthy life. So CrossFit is a lifestyle. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye. Good job, Steve.